They built their empire on data, deception, and pride, never realizing the man who swept their floors held the blueprint to their downfall. I wasn't just a nameplate at their wedding. I was the foundation they forgot until I made sure. They remembered. They printed it in gold foil, bold and centered. A nameplate that mocked me from the father of the groom table. No educated fake dad. That's how they saw me. Her family lawyers, professors. Smug bureaucrats burst into laughter before I even sat down. One of them whispered just loud enough for me to hear, "Guess anyone can raise a kid these days." My hands trembled as I stood there, staring at the chair that would humiliate me. A chair that bore witness to everything I sacrificed. My son, my blood, didn't react. He adjusted his cufflinks and kept talking to his new in-laws, his face unreadable, as if I were invisible. I should have walked out then, but I didn't. Nayeli was 3 when she left. No note, no goodbye, just diapers, debt, and silence. I worked construction by day and cleaned school halls at night. Ate cold rice while he snored beside me on a second-hand mattress. I never made it past grade 10, but I taught him discipline, grit, and how to face people with your chin level, never up, never down. When he graduated with honors, I sat at the back of the auditorium, not wanting to embarrass him. He never said that, but I knew. Still, I clapped louder than anyone as signs were quiet. He stopped calling me dad, switched to pops, then just, hey, said things like, "You wouldn't get it." Whenever I asked about his work, I nodded and smiled, thinking maybe that's what growing up meant. Then one day, I brought lunch to his office, homemade stir-fry, still warm. The receptionist looked confused, said I wasn't on the approved visitor list. I heard laughter from the conference room, her laughter the bride, the one who always looked at me like I was something sticky on her shoe. He never mentioned the lunch, neither did he. Wasn't the laughter that broke me. It was the way he looked away when I reached for the plate, like he'd rather I disappear than be seen near his new family. So I stood quietly, straightened my jacket. My fingers brushed over the words on that nameplate one last time. I turned to leave. No scene, no tears. But then he stood up, walked past his wife, past her smug relatives, and caught up to me at the door. He said, "Dad, let's go home." Not sorry, not ashamed, just a command, as if he was doing me a favor he left alone. But I didn't go home. Not yet. They had no idea who really built the foundation under their empire. While he was at college, I worked on data centers, built server rooms, learned how tech companies scaled from the inside. One winter, I invested in a small cybersecurity firm, a favor from an old friend I saved from foreclosure. That favor turned into 38% ownership. And guess who the firm's latest client was? His company, the one he founded with his wife. The one that just landed a major government contract. The one already under quiet federal scrutiny for irregularities in data handling he didn't need to hack anything. I just needed to allow discovery. It started with an audit. Then came the subpoenas, data leaks, a whistleblower report, anonymous, thorough, damning. Every shady shortcut his wife pushed. Every manipulated algorithm used to inflate engagement metrics. They all surfaced. Her father tried to pull strings. I watched from the gallery as he bluffed through a Senate hearing, face pale, sweat glistening. The company's valuation plummeted. In 3 days, he called me once. I didn't answer. I did, however, call the cybersecurity firm, told them to terminate the contract publicly, then leak why a breach of ethical integrity made headlines. Investors fled, partners froze, contracts. Layoffs began, and still, I remained unseen. 3 weeks later, he came to my house. Not the condo I bought for him, not the apartment I paid rent on while he interned. My house, the old one, the one with cracked walls and warm rice on the table. He stood at the gate like a boy again. No suit, no watch, just a hollow look he didn't know. He said, "They made." The card, without telling me, looked at him. "You let them laugh," nodded. No excuse. He stepped aside. Let him in. Not because I forgave him, but because silence is a sharper punishment than fury. He lives here now, humbled, jobless, learning how to live without status. Me, I go to work still, not because I need to, but because I like the feel of earth in my hands. I'm not a fake dad. I'm the man who taught a boy everything and then taught him what happens when you forget where you came from. And that was the real education. Wakes early now, before dawn, when the air is still and the city hasn't started its constant hum. We sit in the kitchen, side by side, bowls of rice and pickles between us. The silence is different now, not sharp, but heavy with reflection. He asks me about the construction sites, about how I learned to fix server rooms without a formal degree. I tell him stories, not to boast, but because he finally listens. There's a sadness in his eyes that wasn't there before. A recognition of the years lost to ambition that was never truly his own morning. He places a blueprint on the table, not a business plan, not a pitch deck, a simple community center, design with open workshops for trade skills, coding labs, and a free library. He doesn't say much, just slides it over with a tentative glance. I look at it, tracing the lines with callous fingers. It's not redemption, but it's a start. We began with an abandoned warehouse near the docks. He calls in favors, not from his corporate contacts, but from old college friends who still believe in building things from the ground up. I handle the wiring, the drywall, the plumbing. He learns beside me, hands blistered, sweat soaking through designer t-shirts he no longer cares about. Slowly, walls take shape, spaces breathe new life. Grand opening isn't grand at all. No press, no ribbon cutting, just a gathering of locals curious about the new place that rose quietly among rusted containers at forgotten lots. But to U.S., it feels monumental. He stands beside me, not in front, no longer shielded by titles or curated person's own afternoon. As we lock up, a reporter approaches, small time, independent, but relentless. She's heard whispers about the whistleblower, the sudden collapse of a tech empire, the father who walked away unnoticed. She doesn't ask for an interview. Instead, she leaves a card saying, if you ever want to tell the real story. Looks at me, waiting for an answer. I pocket the card without a word. Some stories are louder when left untold. Months pass. The community center thrives. Kids who never touched a computer before now build apps. Laid off workers from his former company find purpose teaching trade skills. It's not a redemption arc. It's not a fairy tale, but it's real. Lonely evening. As the sun dips below the skyline, he sits beside me on the porch. No words, just the shared understanding of a journey neither of us expected, but both needed. In that quiet, I realized the real education wasn't in the degrees, the contracts, or the headlines. It was in the fall, in the rebuilding, in the rediscovery of what it means to be a son, a father, a man grounded not in titles, but in truth. World outside may never know my name, but he does. And for the first time in years, when he says, Dad, it's not out of obligation, it's out of respect. It's enough.